How's it going, everybody? This is Shady of Shady Horror, back with another watch and review. This time, it is Stephen King's The Dead Zone. Let's go ahead and get into the synopsis of this. Christopher Walken stars in this tense, gripping screen adaptation of Stephen King's best-selling novel, The Dead Zone. One fateful night, Johnny Smith smashes head-on into an enormous truck. For 5 long years, Johnny is plunged into a deep coma. When he awakens, he discovers that his youth, his career, and his fiancée Sarah have all been lost. But Johnny has gained something, extraordinary psychic powers allowing him to see visions of the past, present, and future. In episode after episode, Johnny is propelled into horror-filled supernatural experiences. Desperately, Johnny seeks seclusion, but a moral decision must be made. Should he use his powers to change the future of mankind? Martin Sheen gives a chilling portrayal as a sinister, psychotic Senate hopeful aspiring to the U.S. presidency. So, this is The Dead Zone. It is from the year 1983. It has a runtime of 1 hour and 43 minutes. It is rated R, and it is put out by Paramount Pictures. It's been a good while since I've watched this one. Here we have a Stephen King adaptation directed by David Cronenberg. I broke out the old dusty VHS tape, old school style, nostalgia vibes and all. I like the still shots and the title sequence to this, and Christopher Walken plays a great role. Right in the beginning, the legend of Sleepy Hollow is mentioned by him to his students, in which years later, Christopher Walken would go on to star in Sleepy Hollow and play the Headless Horseman himself. That was a cool little scene and foreshadowing, and also even fits the story and plot of this film. I thought that was cool. I hadn't noticed that before. I thought that was pretty cool. I like this VHS cover art as well. Just that cool text. It's memorable to me. Another movie that shows just how fast one's life can completely change. Crazy enough, when I think of films involving psychic powers, 2 of the first ones I think about are The Dead Zone and Scanners, both directed by David Cronenberg within just a few years. The flashbacks and flash forwards are good in this. Johnny, our main character, can see past, present, and also future events. I like how this unravels. A good story, well acted, well directed, and just a well done film. This one hit harder for me this time because I've also had some medical stuff going on lately. It makes you think different, shows you who's there and who's not, puts things in perspective. Life goes on and things change. That's just the way it is. I know there was a TV show of this as well. I never did watch the series of this, but I can see how it would make for a good show. It would make for a good series, a show I would probably like if I ever got into it. Shows just eat up so much time. Anybody out there seen the TV series? How is it? Is it good? I know it had like 5 or 6 seasons or something. This is also another King adaptation with a good score. As most Stephen King movies seem to be, it's solid throughout. This guy is going through some shit for real. From a great life to everything changing as time passed by while he was in his coma. I think I seen this movie not long ago, got a 4K release. That's pretty dope. This is a good movie. This is probably David Cronenberg's least gory film, but it's become one of my favorites of his. I liked it even more on this watch. Like most of Stephen King's work, it's about life, about change, about good and evil. All the psychic ability scenes are done well, and I just like how this one plays out. It's a slow, yet decently paced, comfortable movie, if that makes any sense. It's also about choices and decisions. Another well-written early 80s gem. I've also loved Stephen King. I've always loved Stephen King's movies, but certain ones I can appreciate more as I get older. This is one of those films, to me, a classic. There's a killer going around, and Johnny lends his help to the police force. I won't spoil anything, but that whole side story delivers also. The way this movie progresses is also solid. It builds up. Good tension, good suspense, and really a good cast. It gets dark. The snowy backdrop is a nice touch as well. I always like horror flicks in the cold, in the fall or winter time. At the core of this movie, it deals with responsibility also. What would you do? Could you help prevent a disaster? A great film that asks some great questions. I like where this goes. I like the way this ends. I appreciate this film even more now. Hope everybody's been good today. This was Shady of Shady Horror, and this is Stephen King's The Dead Zone.